1/3 of his wealth. We can still send him. I'm sure we have to vote it. I'm sure it's going to go down.
All against.
All up. Another travesty.
With the winds of war blowing and the British overstretched, an independent Palestinian Arab state will serve as a robust and engaged ally to the British.
Look who's talking about order. Someone created the greatest
Excuse me, if there isn't order, you'll be removed. This is our fine,
You're to be commended for providing for security for the Arab peasantry in Palestine that will make them more acceptable to Jews coming to Palestine and allow for building a state that we can share together.
But we can't simply give away our land to the Zionist invader. We simply can't do it. Why would we give away our land? That's what they're asking us to do.
But at this time, I would like to request that the Pennsylvanians be allowed to talk among themselves to decide which areas we would like to request clarification on.
I'm curious, the young warrior made it quite clear that once the fort is burned down, we are no longer to go there because that land belongs to them.
Is it also your intention to dispute that we cannot own any land we ever purchased from any Indians at any time, that the whole idea is invalid?
Many of us have come to realize over the decades that we all have been living amongst each other, is that we all have different ways of understanding some of the most fundamental concepts in our respective cultures, that our understanding of how one owns land is different, and that we must recognize and honor those differences.
I would be happy to sign that, as long as we take out the word and substitute Catholic.
France has insulted us. Should we move toward Germany?
This is a rank insult, and in order to demonstrate His Majesty's Imperium and His Majesty's honor, we need a direct and vulgar response. And let that navy leave for Tunisia, and then if you're going to attack France, attack then. Don't attack while their navy is in.
And it does not seem that it is a particularly Christian value to go searching for war and violence when it's not necessary.
Winchester is correct that we need to pay attention to where things shift, but right now they've shifted us toward Germany.
We hold, and our true belief is that certain features of the universe and living things are best described by a purposeful design and not by random process. We use as evidence of this the theory of irreducible complexity, such as the bacterium flagellum, as clear examples of purposeful intelligent design.
Are you suggesting that we teach all of our kids that God had to make that flagellum thing, or are you suggesting that we teach them that He could have done it?
We also very strongly support a very rigorously drawn line between church and state. And with that said, as I listen to the conflict and the contention, I can't help but wonder what Jesus would have thought about this debate and about the issues that have come up here.
A proclamation has been issued by His Majesty King George III proclaiming that the colonies are in open rebellion.
They're attacking their own subjects. They're the tyrants.
If we now negotiate with the Crown
There's
and
no
the
way
Parliament
that the British know about the association.
to gain our interest as the colony of New York.
The Brits can attack or they don't. What happens? If we have a militia, I think we have maybe it won't be that strong, and if the Brits attack, we might have a 70% chance of dying. I'm just trying to lay out, let's think clearly about this.
Can we be in alliance with Great Britain? And I know the answer that Mr. Nehru will give to that is no. If there is independence, will Great Britain defend India? Mr. Nehru would grow quite unhappy even at the thought.
We do not recognize the right of the British to grant you your right. Moreover, I think my learned Muslim colleagues will agree, rulers have no rights. Rulers have responsibilities.
I have strived to live my life by Gandhi's precepts. So as there is cohesive force in blind matter, so must there be in all things animate that cohesive force is love.
What I have done in these many years as a clockmaker is recognize that intricate parts can be made to work in a way that will produce quality.
I am not a machine. As you refer to us in your writings, I am a child of God.
We cannot improve the lives of workers without amassing that capital. Machines can be used effectively to spread the wealth, to pay working men a family wage.
It behooves Parliament to step in and set a minimum wage that would protect the living of those workers that you're talking about.
I believe that the working class must remain subservient and marginally healthy, capable of hard work. Right? Quite right.
On behalf of the other Cherokee ladies, we hope you will consider our heritage, our tradition, and I wish to share a story with you. Many of you remember the legend of two wolves.
And so it's time for me to actually talk money and for you to have a chance to understand what it is that President Jackson is proposing to you. We guarantee you the right to survey that land to make sure that it is equivalent in size to the land that we are asking you to leave. I'm going to remove these scare quotes from around the word safe passage because what we are guaranteeing you is safe passage.
Regardless of where you fall on the food pyramid, it is important that Americans have healthier lifestyles and healthier bodies. If you have contracted cancer, a healthy body is going to help you tolerate the treatment much better and increase your chances of survival.
Our own government agencies, including the Department of Human Health and Services, as well as the National Research Council, have both come out with studies in the last few years demonstrating that all kinds of cancer have a high correlation with a high-fat diet. So from a policy standpoint, I think we also have to think in terms of a risk-benefit analysis.
There have been contradictory studies that have come out. Some of them say that, in fact, in some situations, a higher degree of fat seems to be associated with a lower risk of cancer, a faster recovery from cancer. So it's a difficult thing to study.
Today we will hear the disputation from Lord Admiral's men, and I would like to hear the defense of their play written by Christopher Marlowe, Dr. Faustus, a play that is somewhat concerning to members of the council, but we want to hear your presentation first.
Our play, Dr. Faustus, contains the lesson for all those who come and see our play.
Why don't you go on?
To extract from the exemplum of Dr. Faustus how not to live a life.
With the plague that is constantly racking the city, with the plots that we hear tell of in the broadsides, I believe that we need all the moral reinforcement that we can muster, even from our entertainments.
To expect that a woman and a man are always going to agree on everything means that one party is always going to be under the thumb of the other party.
There may be some things that can be accomplished politically, depending upon, once you have the vote, what you do with the persons who have been enfranchised.
It seems to me that there's a lot of talk of politics and legislation and what is going to be done in the future. I do not see how it will help right now with the issues that we have, the problems that we have, the poverty that we face everywhere.